during this stage, your virtual assistant will be doing things as they are learning them. It's kind of like learning how to write out ABC while having to read out the actual letters. Hey there, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, my goal set in this video is to walk you through what would an ideal first 4 weeks with your virtual assistant can look like. Now, if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai Lacaba. I've been working from home since I was 15 years old and now run my own virtual assistant outsourcing company here in the Philippines. And I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, so make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, if you follow through with any of my older videos, I've talked a lot about the onboarding process when you have a virtual assistant, the hiring process, how to interview, what questions to ask, and in this video I'm going to walk you through what to expect or what would be an ideal first 4 weeks with your virtual assistant as you're walking them through and onboarding them into your company. Now, if you haven't yet, it would be helpful if you go and check out my video on how to onboard a virtual assistant, but you don't really necessarily need it to go through until the end of this video. Now, on the first week, you want to make sure that you are giving your assistant all that they need so they can be ready as they're going through the first week. Now, to keep in mind that during this stage, your virtual assistant will be doing things as they are learning them. It's kind of like learning how to write out ABC while having to read out the actual letters. So it's going to be a difficult thing to juggle, so you need to keep this in mind as you start giving your assistant tasks. Now, during the first week, your goal is to really just have a task list up and running, and there's different steps that you can go through as you prepare for this. Now, a task list is basically a way for you to be able to monitor what are the tasks that your assistant is doing, if they've been able to finish it, if they have any questions about it, or if they're stuck and they can't seem to move on to the next step. So that's what the task list is. You're going to be able to use different tools. There's tools like Trello or Asana, or in the company we use Notion. So it's just a way for you, again, to track the process of where the tasks that you assign to them or delegate to them is at. So this could be as simple as just a to-do list of just like, to do and done. It could be a whole Kanban board where they move it from to do, doing to done, or it could be just a Gantt chart. So it's really up to you what type of task list to create, but the point of it is for you to get them started. And you can get them started once you have the task list, you've already added them to that, they already have access, they know how to use it, is to set the priority tasks for the week. Now, you're going to probably do this every single week for the first 30 days, just so they know what is priority to you. Because for them, if they've had previous experience, it might be different. What are the things that they expect working with you, just because this is how their older employer, or if they have never had an employer, expected it. So you have to be the one responsible to make sure that they know what are the priority tasks for that first, second, third, and fourth week. Later on, as they get to know you and your business better, they're going to be able to just outright know what to do first, what to do last, or you can always reshuffle with them. But in the first 4 weeks, it really needs to be your priority that they are able to know what are the priority tasks to do. Next is to simply just start inputting those tasks in the tracker in a priority way. So it's either you label them, 1, 2, and 3, green, yellow, red. So it's up to you what works for you in your business and what works for you already. You might already have a good task tracker system, but it's then now putting it into the task tracker. Again, you've showed them how to do it, then also helping them set up what we call the start and end of day updates. So the start of day updates is essentially when they send you, hey, these are my top 3 priority tasks of the day. End of day, as they're finishing up work, they're going to send you, these are the top 3 things I was able to finish. That way, there's an ability to bridge the gap of why they weren't able to do the priority task, were they stuck on something, and so on and so forth. It's also a great way for you to see if things are on track, if they're moving things forward as they should be. Next, on the second week, is setting up a really good delegation system. Now, this is going to be essential as you both start working together more and more, is setting up a delegation system. Now, why are we putting the task list first before delegation system, where there has to be a system that you can delegate to? So this is why we've put the task list first and then the delegation system. Now, with the delegation system, there's a few steps that you can follow to set this up in the right way. One is choose the mode, the how you're going to give them tasks. Now, this could be a text, this could be chatting them, this could be emailing them, or it could be a voice. It could be using a tool called Otter, or using WhatsApp or Messenger, or anywhere else where you can just click on the recording something, and then you're recording, okay, this is what the task that I need to do, blah, blah, blah. This is this priority, do this tomorrow, or whatever the deadline is. So you're making sure that there's a way for you to easily give them tasks without having to pause or think about it. A lot of the time, as employers, it might be that we're rushing from one thing to the other. We think of a task and we forget to actually give it. So make it easy for yourself to be able to give your virtual assistant a task. So make it something that will take too long, or you'll eventually forget it. You can use Post-its if that's the fastest way for you. Just have a Post-it where you can write in the tasks to give to your assistant, and then you put that on the chat or an email. But you need one place where it's easy for them to grab tasks and not have to jump through different modes. Next is making sure that you walk your assistant through the process of taking things from the chat, from the voice notes, into the actual task list. This is why we did task list first again. So it's you making sure that they know the process, that after they get the task, they should go ahead and put it in the task tracker, or else there wasn't really much of a point. So you have to make sure that they know that that's how to end that process, and to maybe even respond in the chat of like, yes, done, put it in the tracker. That way, again, you're making sure that things don't fall through the cracks, and of course the task tracker is actually used. Next, and this is just a cool little framework that I got recently, which is basically when you're delegating a task, keep in mind WOW. WOW means why, outcome, and then who. Those are three things that you have to keep in mind when you're delegating a task to someone. So why is this a task? Why was this needed? Why is this a solution to a problem? Why is this being added in the first place? So it could be that the task is to book a flight. Why? It's because you want to take a vacation or go to this conference. You're giving your assistant context of why that's even there. Outcome is how can they say that this is done? How would they be able to judge if this is something that can move into their done pile? And then the last W is who. Who is the person in charge of this? Because it might not be them. It might be that they are probably just going to be following up with someone on a task. So again, it's WOW. It's why, outcome, who. That's the easiest way that you can have a framework to delegate tasks effectively to your virtual assistant. Is just, let's say the task is buying you an iPad, as an example. So the why is I need an iPad to be able to take up notes really quickly and not have to keep switching to notebooks. The outcome is I have an iPad in my hand. And then the who is you. You can order through Apple, you can order secondhand, you can order whatever it is. Again, it's up to you. But the in charge of this is you as the virtual assistant. You're giving them really clear instructions of what it is that you want to see at the end of this. The third week is then to make sure that they know what their routine and recurring tasks are. Now, routine tasks are tasks that have some sort of trigger. So these are tasks that could be onboarding a new employee. Someone needed to be hired, and then there's a routine number of tasks that they need to do in order to say that that person is onboarded. A recurring tasks are the repeat tasks, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly tasks that they have to do and make sure that they double check to do. So daily tasks could be email management, calendar management. Weekly tasks could be creating certain reports, for example, and then multitasks could be making sure that we file this with the government. So it really depends on what your business is like, but you need to create that list with your assistant and start noticing what these tasks are that you have to do repeatedly in your business, so then you can easily delegate it to them. And a cool little hack that I'll give you is try to create a tickler file. Now, a tickler file is basically a future dated to-do list, and I usually recommend that it is separate from your task tracker, because then your task tracker is going to be filled with a lot of future tasks. So a tickler file is basically just a separate thing where you put in all of the future dates. So for example, it's a monthly task. You've already put in June, July, August, September, October, November, December, half of the year, and you've put in like what that task is that they have to do. So then they look at that. So every week when you have a meeting with your assistant, or as they're starting their day, they look at that list of like, oh shoot, we have to do that. We have to do this because it's upcoming and it's in the tickler file and the deadline is soon. When you do this, again, it's harder for things to fall through the cracks because you have one place that you can look at to see where all of the tasks are at. Now, lastly, in the last week of that 30 days is going to be just looking and assessing tasks. Now, you're going to basically correlate what has been happening in the last 3 weeks. Are they actually effective at the tasks that they're doing? Are they struggling with it? Are they doing it right? It's basically making sure that you give them effective feedback and timely feedback, so then they know how to improve for the next month. It's also going to be an assessment for you to look at how your last couple of weeks have been, if there are any other tasks that you have been wishing to give to your virtual assistant that you still have not. So it's a good time to assess and look if it's working, if this is actually something you want to keep doing moving forward, or it's just not working out. So having that good 30-day mark makes it easy for you and your virtual assistant to reassess, to pivot as needed, to do different habits or different ways maybe of delegating if the old one doesn't work for you. Now, when it comes to onboarding a new virtual assistant, it doesn't have to be this huge, scary, complicated thing. You also have to keep in mind that for you it might be scary, for them it's very terrifying as well, because they have to be learning all of these new things as they're also doing it actively. So keep in mind to make it just a little bit easier for yourself and your virtual assistant. It doesn't have to be that right off the bat in the first month they are helping you make money, get new clients, get all of these results, because that's just not realistic and that's not fair to your virtual assistant either. So keep that in mind. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below, did you just hire a virtual assistant? How was that whole experience? And if you haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of our videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, which you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. Now, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.